What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome back to MKO Pugilism, aka MKO Boxing, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, follow on TikTok, all that good stuff. So, anyway, let's get into this one. So, the main event from Saturday night, aka Sunday morning for me over here in the UK, Prime Video, was Plant versus Resindez. So, Plant versus Resindez. And these are two guys that had sparred together before. According to what they were saying on comms, they were saying Plant, this is a sparring partner that Caleb Plant used to prepare for Canelo in a fight in which he lost by stoppage. And so this is a guy familiar with, and again, much like the Jamal Charlo's opponent, Lamana, this guy, Resindez, was sort of picked to, be kind of a warm-up, and then that would lead into setting up Caleb Plant versus Jamal Charlo in the future. This was like meant to be a warm-up. So Caleb Plant, big favorite. It was actually, I think, a favorite to stop this guy, to stop this Resindez guy. But Resindez did not read that script at all, completely tore it up, and, just turned, as I say, the best laid plans of mice and men. He just tore up that script. And, big, it's a big upset, really, because no one, apart from this guy and his team, I don't think many were really picking Resindez. I didn't know much about him myself, so I was pretty much backing Caleb Plant, just expecting him to deal with this guy, probably on points. I didn't see that much of him, Resindez, before, but this one then where I want to say pretty much most people got this wrong. And Resindez just came on very, very strong. The way he won this fight was, it was pretty close in the early rounds. Plant was able to use the jab quite well. Quite low output by Caleb Plant, but he was able to sort of outbox Resindez in some of these early rounds. But Resindez was always sort of there, always buzzing about, always, able to get up close and personal with Caleb Plant. And as the fight wore on, it seemed the writing was on the wall as we sort of went into 4, 5, so especially around sort of 6, 7, those rounds, those middle rounds are where I would say Resindez really took over. He was in the fight at the beginning, but Caleb Plant's boxing skills were coming into play. He was able to take some of those early rounds and look perhaps the the better fighter. But as the fight wore on, as we got into the mid rounds, like that 6, 7, Resindez really began to take over, and it was all because of his determination, his will, and his volume, and he just was making Caleb Plant work at a clip, work at a serious pace. And you could tell that he was making Caleb Plant uncomfortable. He was able to hurt him with shots. How Caleb Plant remained on his feet is beyond me, because he had to take some shots in there, and came very close to going down. In my view, he really did. It was, some of those shots were kind of reminiscent of the shots Shane Mosley hit Floyd Mayweather with. Some of them were like on that level where it was like, whoa, he's dipped and he's almost down. And Resindez really just sort of went after Plant and was just very dominant on the front foot. He was coming after Caleb Plant, and Caleb Plant wasn't able to get out of his way at all. He was having to be in the pocket and getting sort of pushed back by Resindez, and also being made to sort of try and fight Resindez off. He wasn't able to do so, and you could tell that Resindez was very, very comfortable on the front foot, and he was just out throwing and out landing and out manning, and he basically was able to bully Caleb Plant because his volume was just too much. The pace was just too much for Caleb Plant, and Plant just had to pretty much settle for second best in this fight, because he wasn't able to really tie Resindez up or nullify him in any way. It was like Resindez was kind of, given that free range and he was able to get through that, that sort of low left hand that Plant uses. He was able to come over that with right hands and, just vicious combination after combination after combination. It was just like a train, just constant. We just had Plant under this constant pressure, and it wasn't. It was a pressure that was really working, really effective, because unlike some fighters where they can sort of block and they kind of make you miss, Plant wasn't really able to make Resindez miss much at all. And he was putting the pressure on, and he was landing big power shots, over and over again, and it was just pretty much dominance. I want to say from those mid rounds onwards, from sort of round 6 onwards, it was all Resindez, and Plant was just playing second fiddle, trying to throw in between the punches, trying to get away from him, but he couldn't get away from him. And it was just complete and utter domination by Resindez. So yeah, very good, and he really deserved the decision. The only bad thing was obviously the plans of Caleb Plant, I suppose, for that, bad for his plans. But there was one judge, I think, that gave it to Caleb Plant by 4 rounds or something silly like that, and that was ridiculous. That was a bad thing about it. But aside from that, very, very deserving winner in Resindez. He just proved to be too hot to handle, too much pressure. And yeah, we'll have to see what Caleb Plant does to rebuild himself. What happens next for him? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Until next time, it's MKO Boxing, over and out.